What is happening, guys? My name is Sumit Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today I want to talk to you guys about being able to control your internal nature. So, if you think about your true nature, think about it in terms of the deep, deep recesses of your mind, the subconscious mind, okay? And you can think of it almost like the bottom of a river. Okay, think of it like the bottom of a river. These are some ideas from, Swami Vivekananda, who I really, really respect. Because his language is just it's so potent, it's so masculine, man. It's so good. If you just read any of his writings, you'll understand the way that his mind works. This is an example that he gave. So what he says is, your true nature is like the bottom of a river. So if there are ripples in the mind, what are these ripples? Different thoughts, right? Different distractions, different things. If you're muddied in the water, in the river, you can't see the bottom of the river. You need clear water on a nice sunny day to be able to see the bottom of that river. So, actually, a person who's always in activity, trying to figure it out, is adding more mud, adding more ripples to the water. Right? He's not going to his true nature, the solution of their true nature. By the way, guys, if you see, there are these falcons over here. It's really, really amazing. The falcon is one of my soul animals, so I'm very inspired by them. I see them here all the time. I actually made eye contact with the falcon twice up here on this roof. Pretty wild. And of course they have crows here in Kolkata. So, you're muddying yourself, but there is a superpower in calmness. And that superpower is simply the stillness of going inwards. And oftentimes it's like you're doing a Google search but internally. Right? You're figuring out, okay, what do I need to find here? You're just allowing things to come up rather than forcing things to happen. You're allowing things to come up instead of forcing things to happen. You see, the mind is like an instrument. It has this mind stuff that we call chitta, okay? So if you take this mind stuff and you understand that, your eyes don't really see. Your eyes don't really see. You know what sees? It's in the brain. Your brain connects to the eyes as an organ to help it to see. And there's a certain nerve in the brain that helps you to see, to actually have vision. So, would it be accurate to say that our eyes help us to see? Yes, but by itself it cannot help you to see. Right? It needs the instrumentation of the whole, the integration of the different parts, and it being connected to the brain is what really helps us to see. Another example that I can give is, and this is all from Raja Yoga that I'm just coming across, right? So basically, you take an oyster, right? The way that oyster creates that pearl is a bacteria gets inside the oyster. It sees it gets this irritation. And in order for that oyster to get rid of that irritation, basically what it does is it creates this enamel effect around the bacteria, which creates this beautiful pearl that we see on the outside. So we might see this beautiful pearl on the outside as a metaphor. I'm using this, right? You might have an incredible life on the outside, like success on the outside. But nobody knows your journey on how you got there. They didn't know that you need to fight this bacteria full of all this irritation to finally get you that bling bling, right? And I know this sounds weird, but this is kind of how I'm thinking about it. So you have this internal nature that is hidden, right? The subconscious mind is hidden from the world. people don't know what it is. You can only discover it yourself through, hypnosis or meditation or inner work or, working with a therapist. Or there's so many ways to do it and to access this thing. But until you actually understand that, more than 90% of this thing is run by this supercomputer known as the subconscious, like this giant junkyard of all of your memories, all of your stored memories and desires and fantasies and hopes and aspirations. It's just like clumped up in this giant warehouse, this giant echo chamber. So let's say one day you had an event where a cat peed on you, okay? Really silly example, but cat peed on you and you were young and your mom didn't save you. Now what do you associate with it? Now years later, maybe you're in your 20s, and you see a cat. Right? Now you're afraid of it for some reason. You think that a cat is dirty for some reason, and it's unconscious to you. Because again, it's going back to that cat pee incident, right? But you don't know it. You don't know it consciously. You're just like, I don't really want to touch that cat. I don't like it. And people are asking you why, but it's so cute. But look at the kitty. Don't you want to hold it? And you're like, I don't know. I don't really. And I'm not talking from personal experience. I just made this up on the spot. I love cats. Actually, I love cats. That's why I love tigers too. They're in the cat family. But anyway, besides that point, people are forcing you to have this kitten or whatever, right? Put it in your lap, and it's a bad idea because unconsciously you think it's going to pee on you. But this is the nature of the mind. It likes to clump things together. It likes to categorize and clump things together. It has a habit of doing that, we could say. But that habit wasn't created once. That habit was created over time through little micro incidences, little micro commitments and micro incidences that stacked up. And now when you're in your mind, it feels like it's a pinball game, right? It's going boing, bang, bong, bong, bing, bang, bong, 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 right? It's going everywhere, rather than one single point of concentration, one spot where you could silence the mind and get into that core nature and see the truth of what it is, see the clear water, see the eternal and the resting, sentient nature. Because we have sensations as people. That's never going to go away. And I'm not saying to, desensitize either, though that is one of the techniques in TPM. What I am saying is to understand that those sensations do not rule you. Nothing truly rules you besides this subconscious nature, this hidden aspect of yourself which you're unwilling to explore at times. So, taking this cat pee incident, right? There's also your mom who didn't rescue you at the time, so now you have this idea that, people in authority don't rescue me from different incidences. They don't save me, right? They're not there to save me. They're not there to help me. So then in your teen years, you grow up. I'm using that same story that I did earlier, right? So you grow up, and then you have this negative idea towards authority. And you want to be a little bit rebellious. And maybe you decide to get a cat, actually. Maybe you decide to get a cat and protect it. And you don't understand why you're protecting this cat so much, right? You don't understand why you have so much love for it. But again, it's that one incident that is played in your mind 1,000 times, but you're just unaware of it because it's still in your muscle memory. It's still in your hidden part of that bottom of the river. So when you can finally be aware of that, you can clear that up real quick. Right? You can take that mud from the river and just whoosh, sweep it to the side. Or at least observe it. The cleaning process and the release process truly begins when you can become conscious and aware of what's really happening internally. One advice that I have for you is to create mental scenarios where you actually motivate yourself, okay? Create a mental scenario. Like, if this person was here watching me right now, like someone that you respect, how would I react differently in this environment? Right? Like, that's a really simple one. But you could also do it simply like, okay, if someone was attacking my family, right, and I had to do this activity, this little chore, which I'm calling a chore, but it's really a mission. Like, how much energy would I get in that moment to be able to use that and be able to tap into that, okay? So ask yourself, what is your internal nature, and how can you conquer this internal nature? How can you conquer the external and go into the internal? Well, it happens simply through inquiry, self-inquiry, and going inwards, okay? So this is what I have for you guys today. This is just something that I was pondering about, and I hope it helps you out today. If you have any other questions, feel free to shoot me a message on Instagram, and let's discuss it further, because there are these ideas that I get, little downloads that I get, but they need more conceptualization to actually understand it and use them as tools, okay? So if you want to know more flow state tools and ways to really get internal and tap into your own nature and find your flow code, hit me up. Have an amazing day. May the flow be with you. Stay legendary. See you next time.